Thank you for being with us today, Brian. Give us a little more information on what it is you do.
The Civil v. Law Center for the Public Interest is set up to primarily help folks out with access to government records, open meetings, courtroom proceedings, things that are related primarily to government transparency.
And when we talk about government transparency, isn't that a bit of an oxymoron?
I would hope not, but at the same time, I think a lot of people feel that way because there is a lot of secrecy in government, and the agencies and many people don't recognize that government records are the people's records, and that when citizen boards are meeting and talking about changing policy, they're doing that in the context of being representatives of the general public, and that they need to be available to the public and be able to explain to the public what it is that they're doing.
So does your organization advocate for an individual or for an issue?
It's a mix. So a lot of times we have people who come to us and they explain to us, I'm having this problem getting access to information and I don't know what to do. Other times we see that there's an issue that's going on in the community, and we'll reach out and proactively either initiate a records request or reach out to an agency and say, hey, why aren't you providing more information about this?
It just seems that right now, so much is being revealed. People's character, decisions, what the country is thinking about. How can you help us navigate through that?
I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into that, but and what's going on. But transparency is a huge part of it, particularly when things are happening where perhaps someone is doing something wrong in government and they're doing things in the dark. And if the public doesn't have access, then no one's going to see what's happening. And transparency brings a light to that. And whether that's in the context of environmental issues or whatever it is, everything that government does, there is an opening for folks to ask more questions and to get more involved and to find out what's going on.
Well, and it's a little bit ironic because the U.S. Constitution says we the people, government for the people, by the people, with people. Our representative democracy is one of the most unique forms in the world, and yet we seem to be confused about the value of it.
And when you look at our public records law and our sunshine law in Hawaii, it has a wonderful preamble that talks about how government should be as open as possible and how important it is for the people to have access to information, because that's the only true check on government. We still run in secrecy with agencies and boards who are sometimes just trying to keep information from the public.
Do you think it's intentional, or is it because perhaps maybe members of the boards don't have information themselves that they feel confident enough?
That's a huge problem. I definitely think, and we see there's actually a few bills this session where part of it is to help the public, but part of it is also to help the boards. There's a requirement that, for example, that boards have these packets that they get when they start a meeting. And what we've found is that it's not just the public that's not getting access to this information, it's also the board members. They're not getting it till the last minute. And it makes it so that they can't really do the job that they're intended to do.
Well, and if we consider that almost all boards and commissions are voluntary, people have either been appointed or they've applied because they want to be of service. They want to participate, which is what is expected in a representative democracy. What might you say to folks who say, well, I don't want to do that. That's not my responsibility. It seems that the same people are applying and reapplying, and we need to share the wealth, I guess.
It's unfortunate that we can't do boards the same way that we do jury service and really recruit people and encourage people that it's part of their civic duty to participate and to share your mana'o and to really bring yourself to these groups that are trying to develop policy for the entire state and trying to help move everyone forward.
So there seems to be the need for a lot of communication, for the board to understand what their role is and to have the information they need, but also for the public not to be so aggressive sometimes. I mean, we can be assertive. This is Hawaii, and I sit on a number of different nonprofit organizations. It dissuades someone from wanting to be in a volunteer leadership position when other people are yelling at you.
The one thing that I always say to folks is, the people that you're dealing with on the other side, you can't think of them as evil henchmen. You need to think of them as, like a lot of times they're just bureaucrats, or they're just people who are trying to do their job and trying to understand the same as you are, what's going on. If you treat them with respect, then it will take you a lot further than if you don't.
And how amazing would that be? I mean, that the power of the people, with the people, by the people really would exist. Some parting words as we end our conversation today.
Yeah, I really would encourage folks to participate, to reach out, talk to anyone and everyone that you think can help you better understand government. And if you need to ask for records to do that, if you need to attend a meeting to do that, do it and find out what's going on for yourself. And if you ever have any difficulty with any of those, feel free to contact the Law Center.
Thank you very much. And what you're really saying is for us to be paying attention and acknowledge and accept that it is our responsibility to be involved.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for your time and for the work you do, and onward.
Thanks, Lyle.
We just had the opportunity to meet Brian Black, Executive Director of the Civil Beat Law Center for the Public Interest.